Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 2014 Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG 6x6. Now this was produced between 2013 and 2015 with around 100 units made, and it features the engine from a standard G63 AMG, combines it with port axles to provide greater ground clearance, a pickup version of the G-Class body, plus a luxury interior to make one of the most preposterous off-road vehicles that are not just on the Forza game but in general, because yeah, there is really no getting around how ludicrous this thing looks, but also really rather impressive on an engineering terms to make one of the most impressive and yeah, great off-roaders that we've ever had on a Forza game, quite frankly. And yeah, it combines all those elements with a 7-speed automatic transmission, has ground clearance of 0.46 of a metre, a fording depth of 1 metre, can reduce or increase tyre pressure depending on the terrain that it's facing, and has 5 electronic diff locks. So yeah, well and truly equipped for the off-road elements, as you can see by those massive chunky tyres. We'll get down and have a look at the suspension, as you can see, and you can also see one of the canisters there for re-inflating the tyres. And yeah, there's more of the canisters, more suspension, all of the diff locks and ground clearance you could ask for, which is mightily impressive. And yeah, it's got 6 exhausts, 3 either side coming out of the side of the vehicle. Got a step ladder, and yeah, like I said, a very luxurious interior with leather in every inch of the car pretty much. Decent amount of metal. You've got festooned with buttons and a screen as well, and yeah, nice clear dials, and yeah, a decent amount of space as you would expect for a car of this size. Now granted, it does only have 4 seats, but then again, when a car like this weighs 9,050 pounds, the last thing you want is more passengers, quite frankly. So 3 passengers and a driver is more than enough. And yeah, you've also got screens in the back on the headrests, and yeah, more luxury that you could ever ask for, quite frankly. So yeah, very luxurious, but none of this has impacted the abilities of the car when it comes to off-roading. And yeah, and it also has a nice pickup bed there, custom with some wood, and yeah, it means that you can carry plenty of luggage. But yeah, to help it with all the off-roading and take full advantage of the off-road components, it's got a really rather decent engine. Like I said, it comes from a standard G63 AMG, but yeah, it's got 536 horsepower and 560 pounds-feet of torque from 5.5 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. So a fair decent amount of horsepower and torque there. Not quite as much as you would expect for a car that weighs this much, but it's more than enough to get it up to a decent rate of speed, decent rate of acceleration, and it more than helps in terms of dealing with any off-road elements, because obviously it's got all the ground clearance, tyres, the suspension, diff locks in the world. So that power is there really to take full advantage of that. It's really not meant for, you know, high performance. It's meant for more being able to get through all the tough stuff. So yeah, let's nonetheless get out onto the open road and also the off-road elements, because yeah, that's where this car's at home best, and see just what it can do. So yeah, weighing as much as it does, it's inevitable that it's not going to be the most agile of vehicles, but this car will understeer far quicker than it will ever oversteer, purely because it has so much extra grip due to that extra axle and those extra 2 tyres. So yeah, understeer is obviously a bit more manageable in a vehicle like this than oversteer would ever be. So yeah, you just have to watch out for that when you're driving this, because yeah, it will not drive all that quickly while dealing with, you know, a lot of corners, a lot of tricky road conditions. But where it matters is its off-road capabilities, which are immense, to be honest. And yeah, there's really very few off-road vehicles on this game that can compete with this, to be honest. Sure, there are off-road vehicles out there that are quicker than this, more agile, lighter, and yeah, a lot less ostentatious, but yeah, you're going to struggle to find a vehicle that can deal with the levels of terrain that this can deal with, to be honest. And it's not just down to that extra axle on the rear end, it's also down to the fact that, you know, it's got the required ground clearance. It's got really good fording depth, like I said, of a metre, so any of the rivers on this game are easily dealt with. You really don't slow down, and in some cases you really are accelerating while you're going through those waters, and yeah, also makes a fairly decent noise, and I quite like the look of it. I've always liked the look of a modern G-Class. I like the boxiness of it, and yeah, this is just even more boxy now that it's even bigger. But in terms of acceleration, it's still not too shabby, despite the fact it's got so much weight and nowhere near as much power as you'd expect for a car of this weight, as it can do 0 to 60 in 7.824 seconds, 0 to 121.352 seconds, and going to a top speed of 155 mile an hour. Now granted, that top speed is not realistic. This car is actually limited to 100 mile an hour in real life, and so yeah, but I doubt it would be as much fun to drive at only 100 mile an hour in a game like this. So yeah, they've taken off that limiter just for the game, but yeah, you would have that limiter on in real life. But then again, I can imagine to driving a car like this at any more than 100 mile an hour on real life roads, certainly on motorways and tight twisting country roads, would be scary to be honest. And yeah, I doubt anyone would ever allow, any government in particular, ever allow a car like this to do more than 100 mile an hour when it weighs so much. So yeah, and obviously when a car weighs this much, it's not going to stop quite as quickly as a car that weighs half as much, and yeah, you don't want a car not being able to stop properly no matter the conditions. So yeah, fully reasonable for the car to be limited to that kind of speed in real life, but here, yeah, it's able to go a bit faster than that. But then again, speed really isn't the main aim of this car. It's what it can do off-roading that is the real priority, and yeah, like I said, there's no real terrain that can challenge this on this game, to be honest. Obviously the parts of the game that you're not allowed to go to will challenge it, but everything else that's normal is a walk in the park, quite frankly, and yeah, makes mincemeat of easy fields like this with the bumps and the jumps, and yeah, the Mud Kickers Arena Park will be no challenge for this whatsoever, and yeah, jumps, it lands with fair ease. There are the odd occasion where I have rolled it over because it's got such high ground clearance and a high centre of gravity, but outside of that, yeah, it's pretty formidable when it comes to this, the rough stuff, and yeah, it's even capable of dealing with the on-road stuff as well, because outside of the understeer, like I said, you got an incredible amount of grip from those rear tyres. So yeah, even though you got well over 500 horsepower and nearly 600 pounds-feet of torque, you're unlikely to lose control of it, and yeah, the understeer itself will tell you if you've been a bit stupid, to tell you to back off, quite frankly. So yeah, an immense vehicle, and yeah, this will show off what it can do fording wise. As you can see, it's accelerating through water, which not very many vehicles on this game can do. So yeah, it's a cracking vehicle, and it is a car that I have wanted on a Forza game for a long time, ever since I saw it in that Top Gear episode where Rich Hammond drove it around Dubai. So yeah, really glad it's on the game, and it's probably more appropriate to be on this game than it is a Forza Motorsport game, because obviously it's not far from a track car and it's far from a performance vehicle. It's more about the off-road elements, and yeah, this game is perfect for testing those elements. So yeah, really glad it's on the game, and yeah, can't wait to drive it in other areas on this game or other episodes that I do on this game. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what it can do on extreme off-road silly builds. Hope to see you on that episode when I eventually do it. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.